Hi, and welcome to the Slick Willy Fly. Hope you're having a cocktail with me. Today we're going to tie, basically this is a tarpon fly, but I think it's a whatever bites fly because I'll easily catch a nice big fat snook on this same fly. This is a variant of the well-known Seducer fly. I use a little soft tackle for the orange feathers in the back with a little bit of Flashabou. And then for the wing, I used a blend of yellow and orange Marabou. And this is a wicked color combination, but there's a ton of different color combos or variants that work great. For the one we're gonna tie in this video, after I have my sip of my cocktail, the one we're gonna tie is gonna be, I got a little bit longer saddle feather in black. And then for the wing, I'm gonna blend black and Chartreusse, Marabou, a little bit of flash. Super easy fly to tie. It's going to be on a Mustad 34007 2.0 hook, which the size, I just happen to like this size a lot. I'm going to pre-prep the materials so that it doesn't take too long to tie the fly. And I say we change the camera angle. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and let's tie a fly. Okay, so while I was prepping my materials, I went ahead and I put a tiny bit of super glue on the portion of the hook that has actual, this portion here that has actual thread on it. And that gives it, I gave it a little bit of time to dry, and now I can just start tying my fly. So the first material I'm going to use is I got a pinch of this Flashabou. This is like a crinkle, mirage, opal blend, and this is just like a completely irregular length, and I'm just gonna tie it in. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and fold it on itself because it's a little bit of a mess, and I'm gonna go ahead and tie it in on top and get that sucker locked in, and that's plenty. I'll trim the length after I tie the fly. So for my tail, I'm going to use these 4 feathers that I showed you earlier, and they're more or less the same length, but I'm not going to get crazy about making sure that they are exactly the same length. I like when there's a little bit of variation to them. So I'm going to go ahead and tie your side first, and I'm going to keep them quite long because this is going to be a tarpon fly for me predominantly. And I expect pretty savage bites. So that's on one side. This is basically, I'm going to tie them as much as I can on knife edge. And I'm having the curl, you know the way feathers curl? I'm having the curls curl in towards each other. So now I don't want these to be crazy much longer than the others, so I have a guide, and they're about the same length, so they're going to get tied in about the exact same length, and that's perfect. That came out great. Lock that down. Okay, so I'm going to put a link in my description for the Big Tasty, because the way I do my Marabou wing is exactly the way I tie Big Tasties, and I'll put a link on how I prep the Marabou feathers for this fly, but there's no point in showing all that in this particular fly. I'll just give you a link. So I'm going to go ahead and make a dubbing loop just like I would if it was a Big Tasty, and now I need a spinner. Gosh, I have a really nice spinner somewhere. My shaman spinner has walked away, but I have an old spinner here that will do the trick for this fly. And I'm going to go ahead and put my Marabou into the dubbing loop. I will give you one tip. When I do this, I don't take my Marabou all the way up to the fly to the hook. I leave a gap. It looks like it's about I don't know, 1/4 of an inch. And then when I spin, by leaving that little gap right there, it's gonna spin up so much better. See? It just will spin a lot better and lock in a lot better. Then I do take a needle and I try to pick out anything that might be trapped. You can even use a little like lice comb. But the more you pick out now, the better this fly will look after. Okay, so I'm going to get my thread out of the way. And now you can use the rotary function or you can do this old school. I'm going to go ahead and use the rotary function. So I'm just going to stroke everything back and I'm going to start making turns, keeping in mind that those first couple turns there's no marabou really going on the hook. It was just the bare thread. So now I have marabou going on there. And now you can make these wraps as tight or as loose as you want. I don't want them to wrap on top of each other. That's my big thing. I'm not really trying to get some major distance, but I don't want them to wrap on top of each other. And that's plenty. So now I got to get my thread back, which is a little too long right now. And we're going to capture that dubbing loop. And once we've captured the dubbing loop, we can then trim this off. Oh, you know what? One thing I wanted to put on this one that I didn't talk about, that I didn't do on the other one, I wanted to put a little bit of bead chain. I don't have it ready. I'm going to take a quick pause and be right back with some bead chain. Alright, so I'm back. So I just have a medium-sized bead chain and I'm going to use my wire cutters to cut off what I need, because they will destroy your scissors. Heck, after a while they destroy your wire cutters. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to put the bead chain right up against where the marabou ended. And what this is going to do is it's going to help keel this fly. So maybe it'll ride hook side up. I hope it will. Alright, so now it's just going to give this fly a little bit of thread in front of the bead chain, just to make this look like something, a little needle nose or something. And now a whip finish. And again, I'm going to use my whip finish tool just because I think that my whip finishes come out better when I use my tool. Almost didn't give myself enough thread there. Okay, so now I'm going to put a little bit of UV resin. And once I'm done with the UV resin, then I'm going to go ahead and dig out the trapped marabou. So I'm going to use this little girl clip that I have, because I don't want the marabou to get stuck in the UV resin. Make sure the eyes are pretty centered. They are. Have a little UV resin here. You need so little UV resin. I got a little bit of something here. I want to just clean it up carefully. Alright. The cleaner you make it, the better this will look. Maybe I have some tweezers. I have one crazy little hair here. I want to get it out of there. That's the one. Oh yeah, way better. Way better. So I'm just going to put a little drop right between the eyes and right on the thread. And now we're going to use a little bit of gravity. It soaked in actually more than I anticipated. I'm going to put just a touch more. A little bit of gravity, and then I get my light. I like the way it looks. Let's zap it. Okay, and the last thing we're going to do is we're going to get a needle and we're going to pick out the marabou. Anything that might have been trapped. And again, you can always go in here and use a brush, or in this case a little lice comb works great. But that came out pretty great. Like the way that came out. And now we can trim this crazy long flash. Anything that's like too long, we go ahead and just trim it. I don't really want them much farther than much longer than the feathers. Alright, so I got something really awesome here. Very random looking. Super happy with this fly. Alright, so we're back. There it is. This is an awesome little variant of a traditional seducer. You don't have to have this much flash if you don't want anything that's like really curling the wrong way. I just come under and just trim them up from underneath this way, and that keeps them from being all the same length. And I think that's going to look great. That little feather is going to give this a lot of action, and that little bit of flash in the tail is just going to make fish crazy. So hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. This isn't only a tarpon fly. This is a whatever bites it fly. Thank you for watching. Good luck catching, and see you on the next video.